everybody has their own idea of what the college football hierarchy is. Well, we said, okay, we have a camera, we have a mic, we have the best producer in the game in Nick Brake. Let's give them our list. So here's our top 10. We're going to go from 10, work our way up to 1 in terms of the college football landscape, our college football rankings, if you will, our top 10. Without further ado, at number 10, we got Penn State. And Penn State sent a message to the entire country last week as they went into Jordan-Hare and put the hurt on Auburn. They may have effectively put the writing on the wall for Brian Harsin. It's unfortunate, but with this formula that Penn State's been playing with, the last 2 weeks at least, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, a lethal 1-2 punch, makes Sean Clifford's job a whole lot easier. This defense is unbelievable, at least what they put up against Auburn. Abdul Carter is a guy that Charles Power, director of scouting here at On3, was a lot higher on than the rest of the industry. So Charles Power saw him from the beginning and knocked this one out of the park, as Abdul Carter is a guy that you're going to have to talk about for a long time in this sport when it comes to postseason accolades and the linebacker power rankings. All that's to say, physical brand of football, play fast, play tough. We like Penn State at number 10. At number 9, we like Kentucky. Really impressive against Florida. They play NIU this week, and then they go to Ole Miss. I think we learned more about that program when they play at Ole Miss. Obviously been impressed with them to this point in the season. Will Levis, a guy that a lot of people like in the draft world. I like what Kentucky's made of. They're good for number 9 for us right now. Now, a team that we were just talking about, Arkansas, comes in at number 8 for us. Survived a scare against Missouri State. I think good teams have the ability to win ugly. Now, the ugly part and the unfortunate part for Arkansas is the back end of this defense gives us some trust issues, if you will. Allowed 350-plus yards passing last week. That makes me nervous. Makes me very nervous. They play A&M this week. You know how we feel about that game. But if A&M can exploit the explosive play, oh boy, maybe having another conversation this time next week about Arkansas. Sam Pittman is one of the most endearing coaches in all of college football. We love Sam Pittman, Pit Boss on this program. KJ Jefferson does a great job running that system at Arkansas. They play tough. They'll be in every single game that they want to be in. Because of that, Arkansas comes in at number 8. At number 7, we got USC. And the Trojans are still a bit of a mystery to us because they haven't really been tested too much within the Pac-12 conference. No knock on USC, just kind of the nature of the beast. They make me concerned with what they have in that front 7. Now, the defense has been really opportunistic, forced a ton of turnovers. They consistently win the turnover battle. But what happens when they have to play a really physical team that sort of takes the offense off the field? I don't know if they stop the offense, but at least make the offense watch the majority of the game. What happens then? Can USC play that kind of football? I'm excited to see it, because we haven't seen it yet from USC. October 15th, going to Salt Lake City to play Utah, is the game that we have circled on this program. So USC at number 7 right now. We have our reservations, but the offense is ridiculous. Jordan Addison, Caleb Williams. I mean, name all the names you want to. They probably got them on their roster. A lot of points to be scored in Los Angeles. So USC is number 7 for us right now. At number 6, we got Clemson. Kind of a similar story that we've talked about with them before. The quarterback position has been serviceable, which is all they need, to be clear. That's all they need at Clemson. The defense is really good. Secondary is a little bit young and beat up, but they're really good in that front 7. How far they go will be predicated on what they get from the quarterback position and ultimately from the receiver position. Because being able to go vertical for Clemson is sort of the last ingredient we need to see there. If they can stretch the field and they can be explosive on offense, that defense is going to be able to take care of business. So a good test this week at Wake Forest to learn more about them. I anticipate them winning that game. But as of this week, we got Clemson at number 6. At number 5 and 4 is where we're going to get some pushback. We have the Michigan Wolverines at number 5. And it is not to knock anything they've done so far. I believe now in J.J. McCarthy wholeheartedly. I think he gives them the best chance to go deep, or as deep as they did a season ago, at least. With him at quarterback, they have the most potential and the most excitement. The reason they're at 5 for us is because they've done it against probably some of the, I hate saying this, some of the worst competition in college football. So apologies to Colorado State, UConn, and Hawaii, but the sample size for me is still pretty watered down from that. Now they've taken care of business to their credit. What happens when they start playing more formidable competition? That's what I want to see. Until we do see that, they're at number 5 for us. At number 4, we have Oklahoma. Now, remember what I said about Michigan. UConn, Hawaii, Colorado State. I promise you, if Oklahoma played those 3 teams, it would be the same result that Michigan got. So no knock on either program, just the way this thing has shooken out so far. Nebraska, say what you want to say about them. They were in a very dangerous position when Oklahoma came to town. They had just fired their head coach, and they were in a spot where they had nothing to lose. And they could have been a very irritating pain in the side for Oklahoma that day. What did Oklahoma do? Came in, took care of business, got out of there with the W. Very definitive, very businesslike, and no flinch in the Sooners. So are we overly impressed by them beating Nebraska? No. By the way they did it, I think that says something about this Sooner team. At the end of the day, Nebraska, for my money at least, is a better win than some of the wins that Michigan has. So we like Oklahoma. We like the way they did it. They're at number 4 on our top 10. At number 3, we got the Alabama Crimson Tide. They faltered a little bit against Texas. A win is a win. Went into Austin and got it done. Took care of business against ULM. Bryce Young threw 2 picks. We're being nitpicky. It's early. This will all get settled out as the season wears on. They're at number 3 for us. 1 through 3, you really are just sort of trying to find blemishes here on this schedule for these teams. I mean, there's no real weakness from Alabama unless you want to point at the secondary and what happened in Austin. Maybe I would buy that. Is that a huge concern for us over here? Not just yet. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Alabama's at number 3 in the country. Obviously control their own destiny. If they run the table like I think a lot of us expect them to, they'll play in Atlanta and they'll probably play the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 2, we got Ohio State. I have them ahead of Alabama because of game 1. And Notre Dame has been what Notre Dame is. In that game, they were a highly ranked team. And we saw Ohio State win without Jackson Smith and Jigba and without scoring 40, 50 points. We saw Ohio State win ugly. I know it was at home, and I know it was against Notre Dame, and that win doesn't have as much shine as it used to at that point in the year at least, but I was still impressed by that. I think that still told us a lot about Ohio State. Notre Dame, don't get it twisted, played their best game of the season in that game. I mean, it is what it is, folks. Notre Dame came in there, gave them all they could handle. Ohio State got it done, and they've been churning along ever since. 77 points against Toledo. That's hard to do, even in NCAA 14. For those of you that are fans of the NCAA video game, we're back very soon. Nonetheless, we got Ohio State at number 2 on our countdown, or our count up, I guess it would be, in our top 10. At number 1, we got the Georgia Bulldogs. To quote Conor McGregor, the heavyweight champs do what they want. They've done whatever they wanted. I still have visions of what they did in Atlanta to Oregon because it was so traumatizing for me to watch. I didn't have a dog in the fight, no pun intended. But Georgia has been in control, and Command Stetson Bennett looks improved, which is saying something for how long he's been at Georgia. The offense is a little bit more of a throw it around the yard kind of flavor. Could be dangerous for the rest of the country if they continue to fire on all cylinders like I think we expect them to. The defense has been ferocious, to put it lightly. I don't see any weaknesses within this team just yet. Excited to see them play some other games down the road as the season wears on. And if they do have to go to their curveball, if they don't have their fastball that day, I'm excited to see that. Do we see that until Atlanta? I don't know. But Georgia, for us, is the best team in the country as of today. So to recap, we got Penn State at 10, Kentucky at 9, Arkansas at 8, USC at 7. We got Clemson at 6, Michigan at 5. Don't be upset. We got Oklahoma at 4, Bama at 3, Ohio State at 2, and the Georgia Bulldogs are number 1 for us this week in our top 10. Now, that could always change, obviously. The beautiful thing about college football is it changes every single week. Rent is always due on Saturday. You got to pay it. Otherwise, bad things happen. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.